Hey, hello, it's Charlie and welcome to my sewing room. Today I want to talk to you about my emergency bag. Now I spoke about this briefly in a short before, but now I want to show it you in person. It is, it is slightly the worse for wear. Look at it, it looks like something's come out of the pub on a Friday night. It can't stand up. And it's looking really old and it's just, I just thinking the time has come. I'm going to replace it. So here it is, the inside. I can't believe I made this. So today I want to make a new one. So stick around and I'll show you how I do. I've already cut out my fabric and here it is. And I've cut out my lining. And of course there's only one colour for lining. And I've got my zip and I'm pretty much ready to go. So stick around and I'll show you how I do it. And maybe you can sew one too. So here I have my one side and you'll need two of these, and I have my wadding, and I like to cut mine a little bit smaller on all sides because I don't like mine going into the seam allowance. So you'll get yours and you'll place it together with your fingers, and if you want you can clip it with a clip or pin it, whichever you like. Okay. Decide where you're going to do your first line, and now gingham is really easy because you've got your lines already. You don't even need a quilting arm or anything like that. So you decide where you want your first line, you set your presser foot so that it's right either side of where you're going to do your first. Say I'm going to do here, look, right down this line here. So your presser foot sits either side and you start sewing and down you go. Okay, let's just give that a whiz. So I've decided that I want my first line to go down here. Okay, so my presser foot is little ski things. I'm going to pop it down so that the needle goes right onto the gap in between the two. Okay, so down it goes. Now a little tip to stop your tangles underneath is to make sure you've got your tails out the back. Okay, and you've set yourself on a straight stitch on a nice length. And then you just pop your foot down and you go. Start slowly. Okay, and just keep going carefully. Then you decide where would you like your next one. So say you've gone to the end, you decide where you want your next ones and you carry on all the way across until you get something that looks like this. So now I've decided, look, mine was at the end there, and then I've done my other few. So we'll pick it up from there. So here are my two pieces done, and I've really tried to make sure that I stick exactly to the line down the side here. Okay, so if you do that, try and do that also. Stick to the line all the way down. I've got my two pieces. My next job is my zip, and I'm going to take my first piece and decide which is the top. I think I like this to be the top, and I'm going to put my zip down at the top, right sides down. Now a little tip here is, because I've always caught myself out, I told you this channel is about me and my mistakes. So one of my mistakes is I always just hope for the best and plonk it down, and that doesn't always work because sometimes I'm a little bit short at one end or a little bit short at the other end. So my top tip for you is measure, find the middle of the zip, find the middle of your piece, pop the two together and clip them on. So now my zip is in the right place. I've put some wonder clips on and I know it's good, and then I will just find my second piece and I will pop this over the top and just replace the clips on top, making sure you line up your side edge here and your side edge here and clip that on, and then we're nearly ready to sew. So at this point I just do a little check to make sure all is well. So I will just lift it up and pretend that I've sewn it. Check it over, is it the right way up? Yes, so I haven't messed it up. Secondly, I wanted to talk to you about the zipper foot. So the zipper foot is made to go so that it slides, one side of it would slide onto your zip, and then the stitches would go into that little place, just right in there. And in that way you would stitch along, attaching your zip to your inner and outer fabrics. Okay, you might want to go that way, or you might want to do this side. It's very good, so you can use either side, Handy little thing is a zipper foot. So I need to take off my normal foot and replace it with a zipper foot. At the back of mine here, I've got a little lever just there, and you give that a bit of a push and off it comes. Line up where you want your zipper foot to go. I have mine on the left, and then you would just close, put your thingy down. Let me just put it a bit further back. Okay, and with a bit of luck, it fits. Now you're all ready. Again, make sure you pull your threads to the back to start. And I think best practice is you would put this underneath to keep this out the way. And then you would line up your first piece. So I would line mine up here. Feel the edge of it as you put the presser foot down. You can feel the edge and you're ready to stitch. So if you're new to sewing zips, take your time, just go slowly, and you can feel for yourself underneath, you can feel the groove where the zip is. So take your time and just go slowly. Until you get to the end. I like to remove my clips as I go. Again, still feeling underneath your finger, you can still feel it, keeping it straight. I've got a little pleat, let's get rid of that. Sometimes fabric gives a bit as it stretches and goes. Nearly there now. And there's my end. I want to be very careful of that. If you have that on yours, you need to stop and lift your presser foot, swoosh it round and unzip it a little and then carry on. I'm just going to go a little bit further. Very good, Charlie, well done. Little back stitch, and there I'm done. So as you finish, you just check everything's there, flip it over, check the other side. Have we caught everything in? It looks good. Now the final test is, let's separate the two pieces and have a look. Turn it back round. Have we caught everything? Is it nice and even? Not bad. So the next thing you want to do will be to top stitch to keep this side down, because if you don't, like on mine one bit where I didn't do it when I was just beginning, I never top stitched, and sometimes the lining will come up and get in the teeth of the zip. So really it's not very good. So a top stitch will do two jobs. Yes, it will look pretty, but it will keep your lining down. Now another top tip is undo your zip while you do this, because then you can see for yourself physically that it is there. Another one to think about is to trim. Sometimes if you have long edges, another good way is to trim your edges down so that you don't have bulky seams. This is one of my favourite things to do to give things a professional finish. Okay, I'll see you when I've done my top stitching. Now to top stitch, we need to go back to the other foot. Straightforward job, just ping off the one and reattach the other. Very easy. So I've undone my zip. I have clipped just to make sure that the back stays down. I have put my ordinary presser foot on for doing straight stitching and zigzag, and I'm ready to start stitching. So I'm keeping my presser foot quite close to the edge, okay, and I'm keeping an eye on this little line here to try and keep it in between the two. Well, I don't know the technical term for these. I always think of them as skis. Skis is not the correct technical term, don't take any notice of me. So as I go slowly, I'm trying to make sure that I keep nice and straight. Okay. So I have sewn along now, and now I need to repeat the process for the second time. But what I want to do is make sure that my quilting lines line up, and I'm trying to make sure that when they join at the bottom, they will be the same. So will those be the same? Maybe. Oh yes, not too bad. What if I turn it the other way around? Will they be the same that side? Oh, that's much better that way. Let's put it that way. So it's right sides together. Clip your zip to your right side there. When you're happy with that, add to your lining, clip to your lining onto the back, and sew along using your zipper foot and sew along again, keeping your finger in the groove so you know where you are. Flip it out the right way like we've just done and top stitch. So just added my clips on my outer, right sides together. I've got my lining ready to go. I will just clip those on. Then we're going to pop the zipper foot back up on. Okay, you come off, you go on, and then slowly stitch as you did last time. Oh, missed. It's always like a lottery. There you go. So I'll see you in a minute when I'm sewing. So I'm all lined up. I can feel the ridge under there. I know that my zipper foot is in the right place. I can remove my first clip. My threads are at the back. I'm good to go. Let's start sewing. So gently, keeping your finger and guiding the fabric through, feeling your finger. Oh, look at that, just typical Charlie. Okay, so I had a little accident. It came unthreaded. One of the things came and it was the needle came unthreaded. These things happen in sewing. It's not always perfect. So I'm ready to continue and I can feel underneath. I'm ready to go. Take your time. There's not a hurry. We just want to make sure it looks good. Take the next one off. Nearly there. Make sure we're straight, please, Charlie. Don't do it wonky. Nearly there. Okay, and give yourself a back stitch if you want. No worries if you don't, because this will be covered up by the sides. Okay, and you're ready to see what we've done. Next, we're going to look at the little tab. Now, I've made this from a bit of scrap. I've got a large piece here just to show you the purpose of the process of making it. So you would find your piece of fabric, you would really want something half as wide as that. So this is roughly 1/2 inch or 1 centimetre and a bit wide, and you would need 4 times that. So, but I'm using super big here. So you would just find your middle part. Now you can do this at the ironing board, it'll make your job a lot easier. When you find your middle, you would fold your outside edge to the middle, okay? Bearing in mind this is huge, and then you would fold your other outside edge to the middle, okay? Okay, and then fold it over one more time. Okay, that's where your clips would come in. Take it to the machine, stitch down one side, flip you around, stitch down the other side, and there you are. So mine's tiny, but just the right size. So I'll show you what to do next. So I have my tab and I've put my 2 right sides together, and what I'm going to do is place my tab right up here by the zip, and I'm going to pop it inside in between the 2 outer layers, okay, just underneath the zip, and then I'm going to put a clip on that just to keep it there. So I've put a clip on my other corners of my outside, and we need to do the same for the lining. Now, the bit that you need to be really careful of is the zip, okay? And what I tend to do is to put the zip back to back, okay? Now, you have 2 ways of doing this. You can either put it back to back as it is, okay, or you can try and shove it towards the inside. Now, that's quite hard, so I find it usually wants to go this way, so this is the way that I would go. And I would sew over the top. Okay, now you would want to leave a gap for turning, so when you've clipped these, so I would start here and I would start stitching down here next, and then go all the way across. Be careful of the zip like I showed you. Make sure at this point that you've moved your zip from the outside towards the inside, because otherwise it's going to be stuck and you're not going to be able to open or close. So you need to pull your zip. Let's go to the right side to do that, it's quite hard. So pull your zip in a bit. So I'm clipped all the way around. I've made sure that my zip is folded so it's lovely and flat, same at that end. So what I would do is I would start sewing, and I would start with the double one and go all the way around, careful over the zip, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, and make sure you stop at that one. For example, you could put the double clip there. So a double clip would say to you, stop. Okay, so start here, lift up your presser foot, turn, here we go. Be careful over the top, take your time, take your time. One more. Careful with this week. Your little tab is there. Careful. Take your time. Stop. So let's take a look then, see what we have. So far it looks good. So what I'm going to need to do is do a sneaky inside turn, have a look through there and have a look to see if the sides are good. Okay, if everything is okay at this point, I'm going to come around with my scissors and I'm going to clip my corners. Now the reason I do this is to make sure that there is no bulky seams, okay, which is the reason why at the beginning I said about not letting my wadding go all the way to the edge, so that my wadding sits beautifully there and it won't interfere with my seam. So when I turn, it'll be beautiful. So I will be clipping off the corners of my pouch here so that it will be a nice clean corner when I come to turn out the right way. And the same over here. So you would be coming along, you would trim your edge and you would clip diagonally across. Don't hit the stitches, Charlie, like you always do. So make sure you don't don't do what I do. Try to just pop across there. There you go. Okay, I've trimmed all the way around and I've given my wadding a little haircut where it interferes with the seam. The only place I haven't trimmed down is my turning spot, because we're going to need that little bit of excess when we come to close the gap. Now this is the bit I feel a bit like a magician, because thus far we're all inside out. We now need to turn it out the right way. So you would need to dive in here, grab a hold of some of the inside and pull it out. Is it a wrestling match? Maybe. Well, there you are. It turned out okay. And here is my lining. Now here's the gap that I turned it through. Now you've got two options at this time. You can either go back on the machine and do a very, very fine seam right to the edge. Now you might want to move your needle position to do this. Or secondly, you could grab a hand sewing needle. Look at this, I made this when I was at primary school, I think, or just into secondary school. So you could grab a sewing needle and you could do a hand stitch. You could go between the two and hand stitch. And I think I'm going to show you how to do it on the machine first, but then I think I will hand stitch. So you have your machine, you have the bit you need to close, you've folded it under, and you put your presser foot down and you push it right to the edge, okay? And then you would want to move your needle over. Now I have on mine, I have a needle position, so this moves my needle, okay? So let's go back to here. Oh dear, I made a very good job of that as usual, Charlie. Okay, so I'd move my needle over by pressing this one over to number 5. My needle is now on the edge, so that you could then, if you wanted to, do a gentle stitch. Ooh, or a gentle, Charlie, gentle. Okay, or if you wanted to, you could hand stitch. Actually, I've started now, I may as well finish. So let's just tuck that one in, we don't want it being uneven. There we go. Continue, Charlie, safely. Okay, you are done. Okay, I'll just finish off those edges and we are done. So those are my stitches and neatly done. And then your last job is to push your lining back inside and you are done. Congratulations on your very first pouch. There you go. So you've got your little attachment and you've got your zip and you're fully lined and you're quilted and you're ready to go. So well done if you followed along with me, and there you have it. It's all ready to go and it replaces my rather sad looking one. Oh, poor thing, it was ready for an upgrade. So here is the new and improved version. And again, this one is not quilted, so it's looking a bit sad, but look at this one. Woo, it looks beautiful. Well done you, and hope to see you again in another video. Well done, take care, bye.